Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're having a fantastic day. If you're new to the channel, my name is Parker Nierenstein, and this is Vehicle Virgins. But before we get started, I gotta give a special shout out to the sponsor of today's video, SimpliSafe. SimpliSafe is an incredibly effective and reliable home security system that will help keep you safe. It's monitored by professionals 24/7 who will call you in case of an emergency and send police if there's a break-in. I'll be honest, I don't know a ton about home security systems, but SimpliSafe made it super easy to install and everything is really intuitive to use. I've got a motion sensor in my office, really small but yet has great range, and of course, I've got a camera to monitor my babies in the garage. SimpliSafe also has a new lock to keep your home even safer. I absolutely love this. So let's say you walk out the door, forget to lock it. This thing, after a period of time, will automatically lock your house. You can even unlock and lock your house from anywhere in the world remotely with this thing, and it monitors every time somebody comes in and out of the door. Pretty awesome. I love this. The system is even equipped for worst case scenarios, so if you lose power or Wi-Fi, you are still protected. Seriously guys, this system is awesome. The prices are super fair and it's easy to install. So head to simplisafe.com/vehiclevirgins or click the link in the description below to make sure your home, your belongings, your power tools, your cars are safe. Let's get on to the video. Time to go get the Mclaren. Seeing these two beauties next to each other is actually so unbelievable. I am so in love with this Ferrari. But today's video has nothing to do with the Ferrari and everything to do with the 600 LT. The wind today is crazy. Holy crap, this wind! Unfortunately, the wind is an extremely bad thing. It is fire season in Southern California right now. Fires are breaking out everywhere, every single day. And honestly, it makes my heart and stomach sick. Remembering last year having to evacuate and knowing so many people who lost their homes in last year's fires and seeing that this year could be even worse. So my prayers are going out to everyone. We have record-setting winds for the next 2 days. That's where things are gonna get really scary because all it takes is one ember to get carried into the wind and start a whole nother fire. Looks like a roadblock for the fires. Filling up the 600 with some gas, and it just reminded me how badly I need a new set of rear tires. Because clearly the best thing to do when you have bald tires is to take it to a tuning shop and add more power. Don't worry guys, we're getting new tires ASAP. Oh my God, this car is fast. I am so unbelievably impressed with this car. Obviously it was built for the track, not going fast in a straight line, but with a simple tune, this thing absolutely hauls ass. Does it need to get any faster? Absolutely not. Are we gonna make it faster? Yes, we are. Honestly, at this point, I think it might give my supercharged Huracan a run for its money in terms of speed. Then after today's modifications, well, I think I'd leave it in the dust. This is actually so odd. So on this screen, it says it's 1:30 p.m., which it is. And on this screen, it says it's 10:02 p.m., which clearly, judging by the sky, it's hopefully not 10:02 p.m. But there's no way to change the time for this screen, only for this one. What is happening? Ooh, I figured out the 600 LT makes prime Darth Vader noises in 5th gear on the freeway. Listen to this. Oh, I love it. All right, guys, I am so excited because we just showed up to the shop that has and is going to install my new catless downpipes. They're about to head inside and check them out for the first time. This car is about to sound so much better and be quicker and shoot bigger flames all at the same time. But before we head in, I want to talk about one thing that is problematic with the Mclaren. It's the only problem that I've had the entire 6,100 mile ownership experience, and that has been the front windshield cracking. As you guys know, right when I got the car, 900 miles in, the front windshield cracked. That's something I've never dealt before on a supercar or any car, to be honest. And it didn't crack because a rock hit it, it broke on its own. So check this out. We've got 3 different cracks in the front windshield. One right here, one up here, and then one over there. And this is actually my second windshield. So 2 days after I got my first one replaced, I had to get a second windshield, and this is the one that I am currently left with. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are wondering, why have I not replaced this? Obviously, it looks super, super ugly, and I agree. Well, originally I didn't replace it because since the second one cracked so quick, I didn't want to replace it again and have it just crack all over again. Thankfully, McLaren has replaced them under warranty, but I didn't want to go through the process over and over again. Thankfully, however, they have come up with a permanent fix. It turns out it's not actually McLaren's fault. It was the windshield supplier company that manufactured the first couple hundred windshields for the McLaren 600 LTs. Something in the manufacturing process went wrong and they were too brittle, causing them to crack. They fixed the problem now, and hopefully my new windshield is on the way and I'll never have that problem again. Other than that, the car's been freaking flawless. Here they are, guys. Check this out. My new Keller Performance downpipes for the McLaren 600 LT. I am so excited about these. So most of you guys will remember my trip to Miami, Florida, where I took a ride in that 800 plus wheel horsepower 600 LT, which kind of single-handedly had convinced me that I needed to, well, modify my car basically instantly. Now, one of the things I loved about the car is the way that it sounded. It was so much more violent and aggressive. And when I asked him what exhaust system he had on the car, he said he had Keller downpipes. Now, online, it's kind of hard to tell different exhausts from one another just from hearing a recording over the internet, but hearing it in person, it was so cool, so violent sounding, I just had to get these. So here they are, about to be installed in my 600 LT. Now, unfortunately, I'm not gonna be doing the install myself. Apparently, it's about a 13-hour job to install the downpipes on a 600 LT. But once these are installed, I'm gonna pick the car up, take it to VF Engineering for a retune, and it should make some absolutely crazy power and shoot some enormous flames. Just took an Uber to VF Engineering to pick up the new turbo for the Toyota Supra. And honestly, nothing represents how windy it's been in Southern California more than seeing all of this dirt and leaves outside of the buildings. It's always super clean here, but man, these winds are ridiculous. Hopefully they're dying down a little bit. Let's check out what's happening inside of VF today. How's it going, Nick?
Hi, Parker.
What are you doing over there?
Just checking a few things, comparing some differences between the Performante and the Evo.
That's actually a pretty awesome conversation point. So what are, that you know of, some pretty key differences between the Performante and the Evo?
It's really interesting because we got to look at both cars side by side. This is our 2019 shop car, the Huracan Performante with the supercharger on it. And this is a brand new Huracan Evo Spider, it's a 2019 model. And it's just arrived literally yesterday. And we've been able to put them up on the lift and raise them and look at each one from underneath and compare differences. And we've seen quite a few little nice touches, some extra cooling ducts. We've seen the mechanism for the four-wheel steering. We've got to play with the MMI system, the interface, and just generally have a good feel for the two cars.
So engine-wise though, I know a lot of people describe this as basically a Huracan with a Performante motor in it, and then of course the rear wheel steering and the new interface. But since you're gonna eventually, I assume at least, supercharge and modify these,
yes,
are there many hardware differences in the engine between the two, or?
No.
Okay, well there you go, there's the answer. And if I zoom out,
yeah,
what is that right there?
Yes, this is the little extra touch we're gonna add to your Supra.
Oh yes.
So, you know, you've been experiencing our stage 1 software, that's the plug and play software Flash for the ECU.
And it's been amazing.
Great, well, you know, we've been watching your videos, looks like you're having some fun, and then you've made some exhaust mods and the car's gonna be retuned, and then this is what we call stage 3. It's the big turbo from Pure Turbos, and it's a replacement, complete turnkey unit. And you can see some of the changes they've made to it. They've also included this really nice 3D printed inlet for the larger inducer on the cold side of the turbo. You can look inside and you'll see the new impeller, the 5-axis machined billet aluminum impeller. Which,
yeah, so that's bigger than before?
Yes, it's bigger inside, so it gives actually a greater airflow efficiency for the entire unit. And that's where the stock turbo was actually lacking. So through software, we were able to push the turbo's output, but then we would also find its limit because you could actually see the way that the power and the ignition timing is changing or related, in that as more and more heat is introduced, if we're pushing the unit to its limit, that's the stock unit, then the heat actually increases and therefore power and ignition timing drops. And so that's where Pure Turbos come in.
The crazy part is how fun the car has been. I mean, honest to God, I have had so much fun with it on just a stage 1. Then obviously I've modified the exhaust a little bit, so it could get a bit more power with the retune for stage 2.
Yep.
But this, I mean, it's gonna be a whole nother level.
Totally. It just adds more power where the stock turbo's capabilities fall off.
So if you had a Supra yourself, how would you envision building it? I mean, you think stage 3 and new suspension, or?
Yeah, you know, I think a lot of Supras are going to be built in terms of what excites the different enthusiasts who own them. What excites me is building a car in a way that it can be driven by a professional driver potentially on the track. So what I think we should do is, you know, really take care of the power department of your car and then slowly upgrade all the other accessories, i.e. the chassis. So we can overpower the chassis if we put too much power through it with the turbo and all the tuning. But I think, you know, if we add more cooling capacity to the Supra and then we improve its suspension and then its brakes and then its wheels and then get the whole thing balanced and aligned, it's going to make an excellent machine.
All right, so before you supercharge the Huracan Evo, are you guys doing anything else to it?
Absolutely. You know, we specialize in software, and with hardware changes, you always need software. So software comes first. On the 2019 Huracan Evo, on this Spider, it has ECUs. That's the engine control units tucked away right behind the wheel well on either side. So there's 2 in the V10s, 1 for each bank, 1 for each pair of 5 cylinders. So the engine is divided into 2 banks, and each one is controlled by a computer. And what we've done is, the first thing we did was take the ECUs out and read them, and we found that there's a new version of software that we've not encountered. So the Evo has different calibration from the factory for its performance characteristics, and we're going to calibrate that to see if we can extract more power from the software alone and put it on the 4-wheel drive dyno over here. And we've been having so much fun with just software calibration. Like, look at this RS5. It's the 2018 RS5. It's the turbo model. The latest version of software and ECUs are in all of the newest Audis. All of the Audis are turbocharged, and they have the MG1 ECUs, which can be programmed through the OBD2 port or through the connector. And it's a whole new family of software. And these cars are all designed to run at very high intake temperatures. That means they've been built with a lot of tolerance for the stock setup. That gives us a lot of room to play with the tuning and increase the power by turning up the boost in the software, just like we did with your Supra.
And that was also very apparent when I drove the Stage 2 RS5 that you guys tuned.
Yes.
How much faster it was, because I've driven a stock one and it was on a whole nother level of excitement.
You know, when you lay the power plots over each other and you look at them and think, wow, 80 more, 90 more at the wheels gained with just software just shows how much has been left on the table, or how much safety tolerance these cars have built into them, that we can just like go in there and use up some of that.
Yeah, so here's a question. Because there's so much ability to tune the car that much further, do you think that's just Audi over-engineering the car to make sure it's safe and reliable for 100,000 miles?
Absolutely, yeah. You know, they've got a history of, and they've known to be a company that does that. German engineering is known throughout the world for being like overkill.
Yeah.
You know, always under promise, always over deliver. And I think they're just continuing to increase that tolerance, whereby they're just getting more reliability from their cars. As you know, they're the largest car manufacturer in the world, and they just want to be known to be reliable. You know, you see the BMWs and the Audis, how easily they're tuned, and you think, well, what if you can make 600 horsepower out of an M4, why didn't BMW do that in the first place? Well, you know, you have to use the word easily tuned carefully. Okay. Because, you know, what you see with us typically is the tip of the iceberg. You're not really seeing the work that goes on behind the scenes, the engineering, the testing, the logging, the analysis, the software calibrations that do and don't work. What you're seeing, you know, when you come and see us, visit us, is typically stuff that's been finished and developed that we've spent months tuning and testing. So, you know, easily is how it looks, but really the work that goes into it is extensive, because there is a lot of responsibility involved with tuning such expensive engines and going into the factory software and adjusting their parameters. Because, you know, these cars are extremely highly and well engineered from the factory, and what we're doing is just adjusting some of the parameters that they've already set. And we have to be very careful, because the systems are very highly integrated. So an adjustment in one place can have a lot of knock-on effects, a tumble down of effects through a number of other safety systems, and we have to be aware of what they are. And so we have access to some of the function maps that allow us to understand what they are, and we're studying those all the time too. So there's a lot that goes into it, and maybe in the future we can go into some of that.
No, I think that's an awesome idea, because basically in a nutshell, everything you just described is the reason why now 4 of my cars have been tuned by you guys, because you're right, there was a poor choice of words. It's nowhere near an easy process. It's a complicated process, and to get it right with that added reliability and also make the car more fun and enjoyable is a perfect combination. So.
But we really enjoy it, and that's what drives us every day. We just love the challenge, and we've been doing it for over 20 years. So for us, the software and the hardware, it's just super exciting. We love working with all your cars.
As always, it's a blast hanging out with the guys at VF. Now we are headed to Hollywood for a massive Formula One display in the streets in preparation for the F1 Grand Prix, which I'm actually attending with Pirelli this weekend in Austin, Texas. Apparently, some of the pro drivers are gonna be there doing donuts in the middle of Hollywood Boulevard, so we gotta get there quick. Well, unfortunately, the traffic was so bad that by the time I got there, literally the entire event was over. But thankfully, I had some of my friends film some of the F1 cars doing donuts, and it looks like I missed out on a really, really cool event. But thankfully, I'm going to be going to my first ever Formula One race this weekend in Austin, so we'll have some absolutely insane content. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like always, please browse the channel and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you next video.